Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of HD Philosophy Plays Elden Ring DLC, featuring the Dark Lord himself, Darth Vader. I have now 82 subscribers. I can't believe it. I can't believe there's so many people out there that want to listen to some old philosophy professor talk a little bit about Star Wars, or talk a little bit about Elden Ring, or talk about philosophy as we play through this very difficult and tumultuous DLC. But I thank you all for those who subscribe, and let's get into the game. And today we're going to talk about Darth Vader Down, because I revisited that story, and wow, there's a lot of fun to go over there. Like, I haven't seen a Vader like Darth Vader Down since Dark Horse. The thing I really loved about the Dark Horse comics back in the day was that Darth Vader was a force to be reckoned with. He was like a tank, where he shows up to a battlefield and he's just an onslaught, like a moving, immovable object. And like Darth Vader Down, wow, they really brought that kind of Vader out into the forefront. But let's play the game, and then we'll talk Darth Vader Down as we try to hunt for these next bosses coming up. All right, so to kind of set the stage before Darth Vader Down, Darth Vader is actually trying to find Luke Skywalker, you know, the person who was responsible for blowing up the Death Star. And I believe it's before Darth Vader Down where he finds out that Luke Skywalker is the son of Anakin Skywalker, with that iconic scene where he's looking out of his Star Destroyer, and then he like cracks the window when he finds that out, you know. It's almost like the full-on, like, Palpatine lied to him, all that kind of stuff. So Darth Vader is, gets the help of Aphra. And Dr. Aphra locates Luke Skywalker. And so she locates Luke Skywalker, and Darth Vader goes to those coordinates. Darth Vader comes out of hyperspace, and he's met with like 3 squadrons of rebel fighters. And, you know, Dr. Aphra is like, oh my god, Darth Vader's going to think that I'm responsible for setting him up, you know? And Darth Vader obviously does have a belief that he was set up. Doesn't know if it's Aphra, but obviously it's Vader, so, you know, he's killed for less. So the coolest thing, though, is that when he gets there, and there's these 3 squadrons, they're like, oh, look, it must be a scouter or something like that. Somebody who's scouting the location. Let's take him out. And Dr. Aphra's like, run. And Darth Vader's like, I'm a Dark Lord of the Sith. I don't run. And Darth Vader proceeds to slaughter all of these X-Wing fighters. It's so absolutely insane. Just when they think they have them and they have the targeting sights, Darth Vader just like raises his hands and deflects the shots from the X-Wings. It's just phenomenal. You just see how just Vader's in a class of his own, you know, when it comes to Star Wars. But he does, I mean, the book is called Darth Vader Down, so as you can imagine, he does eventually get taken down. And he gets taken down because Luke Skywalker, who is, you know, one with the Force, he uses the Force and kind of like full-on kamikaze attacks. And then that's how Darth Vader gets taken down. So Luke Skywalker, using the Force, dodging the fire from, you know, Darth Vader's attacks in his enhanced TIE fighter. And then that's kind of when the whole series, you know, Darth Vader Down starts, right? And so obviously all the rebels, they go and they're like, you know, let's go take him out. But haha, good luck, right? It's Darth Vader. So that's when he makes that iconic, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men quote. But something I really found interesting, and this is where we're going to get into the philosophy, that because obviously if I'm bringing up Darth Vader Down, there was something in there that was philosophically intriguing to me to bring up, because I mean, this is obviously my channel, so I'm going to bring up the things that I find interesting. Wow, he comes back. Ugh. Oh shoot! Must have not gone this way last time. So anyway, obviously this is their chance to take out Darth Vader. And, you know, those in the Rebel Squadron, especially the leaders in the Rebel Squadron, are like, this is our one chance. We need to take this chance. And as you can imagine, that includes Leia. You know, so Leia being one of the Rebel Command leaders, you know, she's like, this is our one chance to take out Darth Vader. But what I find really interesting here is how there's this friction between Han and Leia as to what to do. Leia's like, all available units, go after Darth Vader. Everybody we have. We are not going to miss this opportunity to take him down. And there's a little bit of vengeance going on as well, because Darth Vader took out Alderaan, yeah. So and they make that explicit in the comic. They make it explicit that Leia is moving from vengeance as well. You know, she may not be thinking clearly. However you want to read that, you know, or maybe she's just very well aware of the chess piece that would be Darth Vader, right? So anyway, obviously she's like, you know, every available soldier, every available speeder, head to Darth Vader's location. We are not going to mess up this one chance. He's down. Let's go get him, kind of thing, right? And missed me. Anyway, the conflict, right? So Leia is saying, you know, every available man, woman, speeder, everything. And Han Solo is like, we need to go get Luke. You know? So you got Han, who is like, nah, that's my friend, you know? And I thought you understood what friendship was, kind of thing. And Leia's like, this is Darth Vader. We don't have a lot of opportunities to take him out, you know? Now, what I wanted to highlight here, oh my goodness. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, I was not stopping there. So we have this conflict between, I would say, like, two kind of ethical theories, and as well as, like, two forms of friendship, too. So Leia is like, no, Luke would understand. We got to go after Vader. And Han is like, I understand that, but Luke is crazy. And I understand what friendship. I just thought you were more level-headed. This is the difference between any means necessary. I'm gonna die right here because I've used all my drink. And at the end of the day, who do you want to be? So obviously in this situation, like, Leia is a great leader of the rebels, because she obviously has much more weight on her shoulders. And you know what's interesting is this is something we deal with in medical ethics all the time. When a crisis situation occurs, and this is Henderson and Veers, who wrote an article about the changing in the importance during a crisis situation. In a crisis situation, what's important for the group becomes the priority. And if you notice, anytime the group is prioritized over the individual, we start to move into what's called mob rule. You know, I mean, that's a pejorative way of putting it. Some may say more of a democratic rule. But the fact of the matter is, we move from an autonomy based, as in like a free, liberal, each individual has their own individual rights kind of mode of thinking, and into a what's better for the group. And this is the conflict that's demonstrated here. Leia is like, this is our chance. We need to get Darth Vader. And getting Darth Vader is the best thing for the rebels themselves. It's best for the whole group, you know? And Han is like, no, we gotta get Luke. And Leia's like, I cannot spare anybody to go after Luke. I need all available hands on deck. I will not forgive myself if we just needed that one more speeder to go after Darth Vader. And obviously Han's like, I'm not asking, princess. And then he goes off on his own. But see, that's the dichotomy right there. Leia is a good general because obviously general warfare, it's much more like a crisis situation where the priority needs to be the group. Han, however, he believes in the duty of the individual. He also believes in that Aristotelian duty of friendship, you know? He's like, nah, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what a good friend would do. Not what a good leader would do, what a good friend would do. And yeah, Luke would sacrifice himself. Of course he would. But I'm his friend and I won't let him do that. And I thought you wouldn't let him do that either. And so that's kind of the split right there. And I ask you folks, like, where would you put yourself? You know, go after Vader or save Luke? And I've been teaching philosophy for quite some time, so I've noticed this shift. We are very much shifting away from a autonomy-based priority of the individual to a very much whatever is best for everyone, crisis situation mode of thinking. Now, here are the issues with that. When you move into a crisis situation way of thinking, forget about minority rights. There are no minority rights. Everything that is prioritized is what is the general will of the people. Minority rights come from the will or the focus on the respect and dignity of the autonomy of the individual. It's the idea that the minority are worth just as much as the majority. And that comes from an infinite value argument in philosophy, you know? But if you move to utilitarianism, if you move towards what's best for the greatest people, now all of a sudden it's like a monolith. The decisions the decisions that are made are based on what helps the majority, even if it's at the expense of the minority. One of my favorite examples where this happens is in The Lion King. In the beginning, Scar is speaking to like his three hyenas, and obviously they have identity. You could see it in their eyes. They all have a specific personality. But watch what happens in Be Prepared as he is banging the war drums and he's feeding into this notion. If you notice, all of their eyes disappear and become in unison. Right? They all start thinking in a hive mind. They all start thinking in a general will format. And then he just directs their anger and he directs their ire. And that's the way they go right there. You know, good leaders need to shoulder the responsibility of the general will over the singular. And that is exactly what Leia does here. But what I want to focus here is, you know, we often think we can be anything. You know, like I can be a good friend as well as a good leader. Well, can you? Can you do both? Because Leia, I mean, we have to give her the benefit of the doubt. She is caring, right? But she cannot be a good leader and a good friend at the same time, you know? She had to decide to not be a good friend in that instance and do what she believed was best for the Rebel Alliance. And that was to go after Darth Vader. Oh, I did it again. It was their one chance to take off one of the biggest puzzle pieces in the war against the Empire, Darth Vader himself. Now, that's the philosophical conflict that I found very interesting. Now, there are certain things that are mutually exclusive. And for this, to demonstrate this, I'm going to use my Confucian background, you know? So, back in ancient China, the Confucians were very aware that a butcher could not be considered a virtuous individual. Because a butcher, what they need to do is they need to, cut up a carcass and make sure that the food is portioned correctly, so that way nobody starves, you know? So the butcher was very much respected in their skill, especially to fillet a corpse and make sure that none of the meat goes to waste. All right? However, a butcher, it was very well known that a butcher could not be a sage. Because of their profession, because they were cutting up an animal, they couldn't be a sage. So these were mutually exclusive things. That's not to say there wasn't a lot of respect given. I mean, there was a lot of virtue and poetry. There was a lot of poetry written to demonstrate the virtue of what it meant to be a great butcher, you know? So again, it wasn't without its reverence, you know? But they very much knew what you do for a living may stop you from being virtuous in other trades, in other aspects, you know? So there you go. It's like, well, maybe that's one of the reasons the politicians don't have a lot of loyalty to like singular individuals, you know? Like, wow, more again? Where is he? Jesus. I have no idea where he is or where he's hiding. Oh, I'll take that. Yeah, so like I said, maybe that's, you know, one of the reasons that politicians like lose friends and don't prioritize. There he is. Okay, I see him. Because you can't be all things, you know? And in this case, for Leia, she couldn't be both a good friend and a good leader, you know? Now, obviously, the rest of Darth Vader Down, it's like, well, I mean, can I? Yeah. The rest of Darth Vader Down is them trying to hunt Darth Vader, and he's just slaughtering them. When they try to take him out, he just takes them out. Like, waves and waves of individuals trying to take out the Dark Lord of the Sith, and he just makes it look easy, and then eventually, you know, he runs into Leia. And then he lets Leia go in order to, you know, lead him to Luke. But I won't tell you folks the ending, but if you want to see, like, Darth Vader just unleashing on people, a lot like Rogue One, man, I suggest you check out Darth Vader Down. I love his build, too, in it. They made him a big guy again. One thing I didn't like, though, is Darth Vader was fighting like a Calamarian, like a mix between Admiral Akbar and General Grievous. And while there were some instances where Vader was just like demolishing this person, the fact that he ended up utilizing Dr. Aphra to like to beat the guy, I was like, that's weak sauce right there. The fact that Darth Vader needed like somebody else to intervene, I didn't like that right there. And we have a boss.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind. Needle Knight Letter, Dryleaf Day, and our allies will never allow this. I am the Red Mane Freya. The time has come.
Funny.
This is our moment. Let's make it something to remember.
No. What? It came out anyway, huh? Boom, boom, boom. Leader sword. Return into your world. And I thought when I hit him, that stuff would have went away, but nope. No such luck. We beat his disciples. Now we fight him. How much do we have? Oh, that's good. I can live with that. We have no idea what this guy does. We haven't watched anything. So, alright. Let's go beat kind Miquella.
My loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my Lord Brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
This is Radahn. This is not Miquella. Radahn versus the Dark Lord of the Sith. So sick. Here we go. Psycho Crusher! Oh, way too early. Woo! This is fun! Just fighting as Vader against this beast. Oh, this is fun. And that opening right there where Vader's just like standing there. Come on, everyone. This is the sickest mod that just brings an entirely new experience to the game. Come on. I can't be the only one geeks out when he sees like Darth Vader standing there in front of this guy. Yeah, I don't want to just beat this guy. Like, I want to destroy this guy. I want to give a performance worthy of Darth Vader for this last guy. Like, that's what I want. Come on, baby. Bam! He's done. God slain. Vader beat the god. There we go. DLC is over. Well, there you go. We have finally beat the DLC with Lord Vader. And that last boss was one of the worst bosses I've ever played. But I was determined to fight it like Vader. No shield, parrying, double handle. Just defeating him like the Dark Lord would have wanted. But this ends the episodes. And thank you for watching, those who did. Thank you to my 83 subscribers who are subscribing to my channel. I love it. I'm just a humble philosophy professor that loves philosophy and loves video games. And, hopefully the next one will have a little bit of Chinese philosophy in it, because that was my passion when I started my academic journey in philosophy. But to say it again, thank you all who stuck with me throughout. And as usual, take some time with the classics, because they will awaken the hidden dragon within all of you. And I'll see you next time.